Welcome to the fourth part of the Origins Redesign series. Today we'll be covering the second half of the sidekick characters, so characters that appear in Cypress, Fennel, Lupine, Poppy, Mallow, Willow, and Rue's episodes. Be sure to check out the previous video to catch up on all the other sidekick characters from the previous episodes of Origins. These designs will absolutely be used in the remainder of Season 2 of Origins Reboot, but I'm still open to many suggestions as a lot of these designs are not exactly final and we'll probably be doing a little bit of tweaking later on. So feel free to comment below, what's your favorite, what would you change, and let's dive right in with our very first character, Cinder. I sat awake at night for days thinking about this design. Like, it was picture perfect, clear in my mind, and I just made it a reality. It was so easy. It was just there. It was just there, and it's perfect in its peak, and this is the best redesign out of everyone in the entire series. I will say it. This is peak. I just basically took the previous design but made him actually look like a St. Bernard and then took those big ol' eyebrows and covered his eyes. And it's just adorable. It's just adorable. He's fluffy. He's perfect. He has those little gray hairs. He's perfect. It's perfect. 10 out of 10. You can't change this one. Sorry. This one's absolutely perfect. Juniper. Oh, our favorite girl. Oh, we love her so much. Juniper is such a girly. I love her so much. It was so much fun, honestly, doing some Dalmatian designs now that I actually put a lot more detail into my work. I understand that in the past I had to simplify it a lot because I was pretty much mass producing 12 episodes like once a month, and that was insane for an animated series. But now I kind of take my time with stuff so I can actually put these intricate details in. Like the little hearts! I wanted to put the little hearts on her. I thought that was adorable to have little spots. I think I actually did have a little heart spot in her previous design, but I decided to like up the ante and put it everywhere. And fun fact, her collar that she gets at the very end of Cypress's episode actually matches Cypress's eye color, while Cypress's collar matches her eye color. Because I'm mean. No other reason, really. In symbolism, you know, in symbolism. But Juniper turned out wonderful. I think she literally looks even more kind-hearted and sweet somehow. Another character that's going to appear in Season 2 is going to be Juniper's family, so we have Juniper's mom. I decided to go a little bit more angular on her spots. I decided to do like kind of like pentagons and like more squarish shapes, just to give the dogs some distinction, because yeah, they're all from the same family, but the thing that I noticed the most with all of my designs is that if they're related, they look like twins, and that's like super annoying because not everyone in everyone's family is gonna look identical to each other. So I decided to make her at least a little bit different. Her coloration is a little bit darker as well. And then, of course, I decided to add on her collar a little star because she is a believer of the Lantern Bearer. And she's actually a really important character because she's one of the first that introduces the concept of the Lantern Bearer in great depth. She actually introduces the lore in Season 2 for the Lantern Bearer pretty much in a giant speech, and it's kind of awesome. So look forward to that when it comes out. And that is Juniper's mom. Of course, we can't forget Juniper's little sister, Kale. Kale is a little bit of a crackhead. Kale is a little crazy, but we love her. She's just a very playful pup. And of course, I had to keep that little paw that she had. It literally is so adorable. It looks like she stepped in some soot, kind of like the 101 Dalmatians. But I also decided to put a little spot over her eye, just because it kind of suited the one paw and it kind of matched and it really fits her personality. And of course, her spots are definitely a lot more circular and oval. And her collar is really big because she still has to grow into it. I did a little bit of different coloration for her spots versus Juniper and her bombs, so there's a good variety on Kale, which really suits her personality as well. And that's our little baby Kale! This redesign I struggled a bit with because I had something in my brain but I couldn't get it out, which is honestly the art of struggle for real. But the thing that I complain about most in this series is the fact that the cats that I say their breed is, they look nothing like it. Look at the real life image of a Toiger and then look at Cosmo. They are nothing alike. And that is super annoying to me because I'm trying to pass off all these characters like, oh yeah, there's a million different cat breeds and dog breeds, but they all look exactly the same because I didn't step out of my comfort zone. So we're stepping out of that comfort zone. Past me, you're quaking because we are completely adding stripes onto this boy, whether you like it or not. I really struggled. I really tried to add stripes onto Cosmo, and it just wasn't working. And I also had to keep in mind that Fennel has stripes as well, and I didn't want them to look too terribly similar. All I knew is that that white on the belly and the snout was working super well, and I definitely wanted to keep those iconic swirls on the ears. But the swirls were clashing with the stripes so bad, so I finally decided to heck with it and added swirls everywhere. And for some reason that works super well, and it's super cute, and it gives him a totally unique look. So hey, I'm kind of a genius, I'm just saying. I got away with the stripes on the tail, he looks much more like an actual toiger, and I added a tiny little hair out of place because I think it's really funny that Cosmo is super, super obsessive with keeping Fennel, you know, very neat and tidy, but then he has one hair out of place. But Fennel can never say anything because he can't see it. I just thought that was a really fun little detail I wanted to share with you. And yeah, I really enjoy how Cosmo turned out. I think that this is the most peak it could possibly get with the situation I threw myself into. Gardenia was vaguely mentioned in the finale of 12, but this character is going to be becoming a little bit of an important one when it comes to Fennel's story. You'll soon see this in season 2 of Origins. But I decided to keep it relatively similar to the old design, but just add a little bit of color, because most of the designs previously were very dull, and I wanted to add a little bit of life to these characters. And honestly, I struggled a tiny bit with Gardenia's design. I kept wanting to force orange into it just because his eyes are orange, but then I decided to calm down and take the orange away and put a lot more purples and periwinkles, and honestly worked out really well. And then his collar, I decided to give him a collar. I went green because green, purple, and orange are a really good color combination. And of course, he's a little Zolo dog, so we decided to add some little tufts onto the ears, so little hairs out of place, which are really cute. And of course, he's got the little speckles and spots and things. And I honestly like how it turned out. At first, I wasn't too sure, but now I love this, and it's perfect. Moving on to Lupin's family. We're going to be introduced to all of Lupin's siblings. This is Lupin's sister, Elm. She is honestly like the brains of the group. She's a very smart and calm character. So I wanted to make sure that all of Lupin's siblings actually had a lot more distinction, because I'm telling you right now, the previous designs, they all look identical, and the quadruplets, identical to quadruplets, is like pretty unlikely, I would say. And plus, there are so many different types of chihuahuas. I chose a reference image that had a bunch of different variants because they all look super different, and it would be so much fun to have them kind of be their own person. So that's what I did here. She definitely is going to have different colorations, different patterns. And then for her collar, I decided to give each of their collars a unique little emblem, like a little symbol. So for Elm, I decided to pick a little flower because she is just such a gentle little bean. And of course, everyone shares that same lovely ocean eye color, and that is Elm's redesign. Briar is next, who is honestly the spunkiest out of all of the siblings. And honestly, I found her to be always a favorite of mine out of the group. She is very quirky. But you know what? I decided that that's what makes her so special. So I decided to give her the collar symbol of the heart, because she definitely has a lot of heart to her. And the collar that she actually receives is the same color as the collar that her mother had. So it's actually very important to her and definitely hits close to home. I definitely went fluffier with Briar because she's just that outgoing personality. I definitely went with all the fluff I could. But yeah, I think she turned out super stinking cute, kept a lot of the spots, unlike her previous siblings. Lupin has a couple of spots, but she definitely has the most out of all of them, and I think it really fits her. Saffron is the quietest out of the group. While Elm is smart and quiet in a different way, Saffron just doesn't speak very much. He's just very much an observer, and that's okay. He's just a little shy. So I decided to give him just a little bit of fluff, but not too terribly much. He definitely looks the most like Lupin out of all of them, and he has the freckles and the spots just a little tiny bit. For his collar, I decided to make it a little bone, because he's going to be the most loyal pet out of all of them when he gets adopted, because purple is a sign of loyalty as well, which is his collar color. Lots of symbolism, of course, as always with me, but I decided to make the siblings have their similarities and their differences, and Saffron is the closest to Lupin, but still obviously is his own individual. And that's what we got for Saffron. Alright, time to move on to Lupin's dad. His collar has a very sad story. He has 2 tags because he has the tag of his partner who sadly passed away. So he always carries her tag with him on his very bright, happy yellow collar because he's always optimistic and looks forward towards the future no matter what happens. And he very much instills that into his pups. For him, I definitely wanted him to be the fluffier of the 2 parents. I wanted him to have that very nice tufts on the top of his head and coming out of his ears and just have that fluffiness to him. I can't wait to show more of his character off in Origins because he's honestly a really great dad, and Origins has a track record for having not great dads, so let's just add in some good ones to balance it out, you know? Okay, scratch that. Ebony's a great dad, Rose has a great dad, Violet has a great dad. Never mind, there's actually... I think we're good, but we're still gonna keep an extra, just in case. We can have Lupine's dad as an extra backup, super awesome father figure, right? Alright, let's go to the junkyard, and let's redesign some junkyard dogs. Orchid has obviously been a very easy character design in the past, so I didn't want to, like, overdo it with her. She's a black lab, so I decided to keep it basically the same, just obviously adding a little tiny bit of coloration. She's a little more dark blue. Her nose is gonna be very dark blue, and she's got that blue collar as well. She has a lot of different hues of blue to her, and I think that really suits her personality because she's a very gruff, kind of angry, kind of somber person. But I also wanted to make her a lot bigger because she's definitely a scary bully kind of threat character. So now she's got this big, bulky, rough and tough kind of attitude. Like, she's an absolute unit. I love her. She turned out super great, despite it being super simple. I think that this works super well. Jonquil is the bulldog of the group, but you probably wouldn't be able to tell that because you can't tell most of these characters apart. As you can see in the reference photo, it looks nothing like the reference photo, which is just a problem we have here, so we're gonna be fixing that, okay? Jonquil is a bulldog, so he's going to have lots of little rolls of fat. He's gonna be big and chubby and adorable, so we went all out on that. I definitely kept those swirly little ears and the little tail just because I think it's really cute. And like, I don't know, that's just like a part of his character aside from that lovely spiked collar. I also decided to give him some eyebrows with some less detailed eyes because the bulldog's eyes are just these tiny little dots and they're super cute, so I decided to keep that. And then of course his snout is super big. He's got the snaggly tooth hanging out. I personally love American Bullies. I think they're great dogs. They're so funny and they're so wonderful and people give them such bad reps. But you know what? Jonquil is wonderful and I decided to give him a little bit of detail when it comes to like the different patterns on the brown parts of his fur, so that way it's a little bit more distinct. He's not a character that's gonna show up for very long or very often, so I'm okay with doing a little bit of extra details for the few times that these characters show up. And that is Jonquil's redesign. Obviously extremely different from the past, but honestly a major improvement. This probably is the most frustrating thing in the whole entire universe to me. This dog, Bamboo, is supposed to be an Old English sheepdog. Tell me where in her previous design that is shown, because I'm telling you, they do not come in browns. And if they do, they're probably just covered in mud. I'm telling you, this looks nothing like the reference. I was so frustrated because I spent so long trying to make this dog look like the dog it's supposed to be, and it just was not working. I wanted to add the gray so badly, but I could not get the oranges to work or the browns to work. So I had to step off the more realistic path and decided, you know, we have purple cats, we'll just have an orange dog. It's okay. And yes, obviously her redesign turned out super different from her original, but I think it's a good thing because it looked nothing like how she's supposed to. Oh my god, what the heck was happening to me in 2016? Literally, she needed help. That poor girl. Oh my god. On to Lily, which I realize not many people might know the names of these junkyard dogs. I don't think it was ever explicitly stated. Sorry about that. You know, new storyteller things. It was my first story. Give me a break. It's ancient now. We're gonna go ahead and make sure we at least give their characters' names on screen a couple times in the future. But Lily has always been a really interesting character. She actually has heterochromia. So she has 2 different colored eyes. Yeah, I threw it out the window. I decided to cover her eyes because it adds to the mystery of the junkyard dogs. But I kept her scar, because she does have a scar on one of her eyes, because she's actually blind in that eye. Due to a previous junkyard battle, probably. And then for her lovely little mustache, I decided to make it all brown, because I noticed that most of the Westies usually have that brown coloration, and that is our rough and tough little Lily. I know you guys are gonna go absolutely bonkers for this redesign, because we all love Petunia in this house. We all love Petunia in this house, okay? Petunia is literally the best character. Change my mind. Grumpy old man with no hair. We love to see it. So, of course, I had to keep things very similar because we already loved him as he was, so I didn't want to change too terribly much. But I did want to emphasize the fact that he's a Sphinx cat because, you know, a lot of people were like, he's a hairless cat, he looks like a dog, or he's a hairless cat, I couldn't tell, and I'm like, sorry. So we're gonna make sure that's a little more evident. I added some of the little whiskers coming out of the ear, like the little hairs here and there. I added some bristles kind of like poking out here and there. I definitely upped his coloration a little more saturated, but obviously I added a little more spots too because Sphinx cats have a little bit of spots on their skin. But honestly, I kept it mostly the same. Because it's iconic and you don't change what isn't broken, you know what I mean? He's perfect the way he is, and we love Petunia, and Petunia is Petunia, and we love it. We've got Poppy's episode next, starting off with Lolo, Grandma Lolo. So we have a snowshoe cat, just like Poppy, except Lotus's design has always been more brown than the gray that Poppy has. So I really wanted to play with the browns because if you look at the reference photo, they're definitely more brown than gray. I stuck with the more realistic colors for Lotus and gave her a lot more fluff because she is an old lady and I thought it'd be super cute if her fur's not well kept anymore. She just sort of bundles up in her blanket, and of course we had to add some more details onto that lovely blanket. I added this cute little tie to like hold it around her almost like a superhero cape, and it's so cute! I don't know what it is about drawing bows, but I love doing it, and it's so adorable. I kept the design relatively similar to the previous blanket, but obviously added some more colors because the 3 colors were fine, but I decided to close her eyes in her design. I wanted her to look like the little old granny squinting eyes, but now that the blue is gone, I really wanted to add a 4th color, so I added some orange onto the blanket. And that's Lotus's redesign. Isn't she so wonderful? I literally would accept worm cookies from her any day. Primrose! Oh, who's ready for Primrose? I'm ready for Primrose hours. Oh my gosh, I love her! She is big, she is beautiful, she is fluffy, she has swirls, she brings it all to the table. I went crazy with this design. Like, the colors on Primrose always bothered me because they just look so dull. So dull. It looks like she's a vampire version of what I just recreated. And also, it was so hard to find a reference image for this character. A Selkirk Rex that is orange and white, for some reason, is like kind of rare. For her rarity, I decided to make her even more of a star by adding all of the swirls and curls and all of the patterns to better match the ones in the reference, just to give her some life. The yellows suit her personality so well. She is literal sunshine. And of course her eyes are gonna stay orange, but I just base boosted them. They are so bright now. And her swirls I decided to make orange as well because, I mean, making it part of the line art just kind of killed the vibe, so now it's cuter. Her collar still remains around her arm, and the blue plays super well with the yellows and oranges. And this is our girl, Primrose! Look at her! She's so happy! I love her! It's Lobelia's turn. I cannot wait for this episode of Origins. You all are in for the deepest shock of your life with this episode. That is all I have to say. Not to spoil anything, but definitely to get you excited. This episode brings on the drama, okay? Poppy always has the drama TM, but this one in Origins in Season 2 takes that level of drama to the next level. That being said, we have to make these redesigns pop. So obviously with Lobelia, I did a tiny tint of pink for her fur color. Because while she is a white cat, that's fine and all, but what if she was pink? What if I had a pink cat? it's my series. I can do what I want, so now she's pink. And of course, I added so much sass to her eyes, to her hair, which I thought about smoothing back, but then it wasn't working and it was kind of weird to me. Because I don't think she would smooth it back. I think she'd want to like have it out and show it off, so I actually moved it more towards the front. And then I added an extra bow on her tail because I don't know why, but like the only art class I ever took in my life emphasized using odd numbers in art for some reason, and now it's like stuck in my brain and I don't know why, but it works, so I just roll with that. And I decided to make her tail a little bit fluffier on just the end portion, so that way the bows also wouldn't be swallowed up by fluff. And yeah, I love her design already from the beginning, but now the redesign, she's just so much more pink, but she also has this sass to her. The design speaks volumes. I love it. Sage, oh my god. Okay, Sage was one of my favorite designs ever. Just from 12. I thought it was just super good to begin with because the colors were actually a little more realistic, and like for how dull the colors were, they were so nice and like muted. And of course I outgrew that, so now we're gonna make it absolutely insane. So I decided to keep a little bit of the tabby on Sage and turn those blank orange spots into some striped orange spots. And then of course the browns I decided to go a little more intensely with. His collar's always been like this coal colored color, which I think works really well because he's a super light colored character, so then it like draws you into his big old smile. And of course we had to keep those lovely green eyes. And for the most part, we just combined the reference image with an already great design and it turned out super well. I expected nothing less. All right, guys, this is the best one. This is the one. Ginger. This is the peak. This is where we reached the best redesign of all time, okay? Look at the reference image. We have an Australian Shepherd. They're adorable. Most of the time they have spots. Obviously, look at Ginger. She has freckles. That's one of her only defining features are her fluffy ears and her freckles. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna completely destroy the previous design. Forget what you know about Ginger. This is the new Ginger, okay? She is going to be fluffy. She is going to be adorable, and you're going to love her. This is a slash threat, and this is slash HJ too. Like, don't actually feel threatened, please. Please stay. But no, I am obsessed. I added some lighter tones to her to match the more realistic version of an Australian Shepherd. She has this beautiful, beautiful coloration that matches the old one, but just adds a little bit more patterning to it. She has the little freckles, of course, we can't live without them. And her brown eyes just pop in this design. She has a pink nose, she has a beautiful collar because of course Mallow and Ginger are owned by amazing dog owners, and I don't know why they wouldn't have a collar, so I added a collar onto both of them. But for Ginger, I decided to add a golden heart because she has a heart of gold, and she's just a fun, amazing, passionate person, and now she has a design that matches it. Look at her! Look at her! So iconic! Them together in that episode is going to be something else. Oh my god. On to a fan favorite, Rosemary. Oh yes. Rosemary. Rosemary's bloopers were iconic, don't get me wrong, but Rosemary as a character, also iconic. Best wing person you could ask for. So, they're a little terrier, so we're gonna make them actually look like that now. Welcome to Origins Redesigns, where we actually make them look like the animals they're supposed to. So, Rosemary now has a lovely mustache and some iconic eyebrows, and some nice little spikes, curly little tail. And I wanted to add something kind of special onto Rosemary, so I gave them a gender fluid collar because they actually are gender fluid. And the thing that I regret most about 12 is I'd never explained characters enough because I introduced like 4 or 5 characters per episode, and that just was not enough time to get into every single character and their stories. We saw a glimpse of every single character because of how fast things had to move in 12, because they only had 24 hours with the person, obviously. But that kind of set me up for failure. I never got to tell the story of Rosemary and why they're gender fluid and how they use all pronouns, and I didn't even get to get into it. But we're gonna get into it in Origins, don't you worry. Every character will be accounted for, and we're gonna get into some really amazing topics and details because of it. So Rosemary, keep being iconic, keep being you, and be loud and be proud. This character is going to make a minor appearance in the upcoming episodes, but she was announced in the original Origins trailer. Magnolia. She is a childhood friend of Mallow's. She obviously looks like a very stern character, and that's because she is. She's a beagle, and honestly, this is the first time this has ever happened in the history of pet peeves, but she actually looks like a beagle. She actually just looks like a beagle. Her design was like perfect. I literally just had to change a couple of things. I gave her a bow instead of collar, and that was like it. It was like the easiest redesign ever because it was actually designed right the first time. Good job, pet peeves! You did it for once in your life in the past. Oh my god. I have wanted to redesign this character since the day I made him. Clover, the bunny, the little rabbit that Willow befriends. I don't know why, I just never put the effort forth with Clover. I had so much opportunity to make this character so adorable, but I just went with the most generic, plain, brown, gray rabbit you've ever seen in your life. And it's like, I don't know, this is a cartoon. We should be emphasizing like silly details and like making it larger than life. I was naive back then, and we are here now, where Clover is going to be a fluffy little lion head rabbit. And now Clover's gonna have a couple different patterns, the most notable being a clover over their eye, because obviously, how adorable is that? Instead of just doing a spot over the eye or something, we're gonna make it look like a clover. Where else would Willow get that name from, right? So now Clover has an actual well thought out design. Thank goodness our little bunny friend is definitely gonna be making an appearance in Willow's episode of Origins, so stay tuned. And then a new character we're gonna meet in Willow's episode is going to be Buttercup. This is a character I don't believe I've talked about very much or have shown very much, but she is actually an islander, and that's really interesting to me, that there is this cat that sort of bounces between two different countries, travels with her human companions, but also her family, and travels the world. She's a traveler. She's an amazing character. She's so sweet. So I really wanted to make sure her design had all of those flowers that she had in the previous one, but make the flowers obviously match her heritage a little bit better. And I've always loved this about her. She has these little white little freckles, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's just something so different about having freckles that are lighter colored instead of darker colored on a character like this. I don't know, it just like reminds me of like a deer, so I decided to add some more like flecks of white into her fur, and it just draws it all together. I think that her design was really good before, so I didn't change too terribly much. I just actually made her look like the Abyssian cat, and now she has these a little extra detail, and she's super cute, and I can't wait for you guys to meet her in Willow's episode. On to our last episode, Rue's episode. This is Oak. This is Rue's partner. We're gonna be faced with some tragedies with this episode, obviously, because this poor character sadly passed away. And that's Rue's challenge for 12 when May decided to be her guardian angel. Overcoming the loss of a family member is pretty much impossible, let alone to be done in 24 hours. Of course, May was under a lot of pressure, but we barely got to see glimpses of this character. And I think that was a crime. So I love this character. He's a goofy, fun, amazing dad, and that definitely needs to be shown. He is a tabby cat, so he is just fluffy. He's got the stripes. I struggled with the stripes for a while because I tried to work orange into it a little bit, so like the orange when Rue would kind of balance with his, but then it just wasn't working, so I went full-blown just browns and dark tones, and it turned out really cute, and I love his eye color. I'm never changing that eye color. It is so, so wonderful. It's always been that lovely turquoise. And now that I have the redesigns for both Oak and Rue, it's time. It is time to redesign the babies, the little babies. It's time to do the triplets. Let's do Lily first. So Lily is the little striped-eared baby who gets herself into a lot of trouble. For her, I decided to keep her mom's cute little chipmunk tail because, oh my god, it's so cute, and I'm gonna put it on as many characters as I can now. I'm obsessed. But I also gave her her dad's striped ears, and the cute little light patterns around the face is definitely from her dad as well. And the eyes, yes, she has those beautiful turquoise eyes, and a little bit more of the fluff from her dad too. I think she is like a perfect mix of both of them. It's just absolutely adorable. I love how it turned out. She's such a great little bean. I love her. Blossom, the little shy character with the freckles. Oh, I struggled a little bit on her design because I wanted her to be a little bit lighter orange than her sister, just so she has some distinction. But I also wanted to give her some features of her father. I played with this one for a while, but what I ended up doing was adding some stripes on her back and the freckles on her face, and then adding a lot of that white. To reference the real life image, I grabbed different images for each of them to see if I can make them a lot more unique. And it honestly helped me out a lot, because now Blossom looks like a little fox, and she's adorable, and I'm gonna cry. Oh, she just turned out so cute, and she has her mom's eyes. Really suits her. I think Blossom turned out super well. It's time for the last character of the video. Are you ready? It's time. This joke is so old. But yes, here's time. We have our beautiful baby boy. He's definitely gonna be a lot more like his father, with the lovely browns and the stripes and spots and things. But I definitely wanted to give him the chipmunk tail, because instead of it just being like a plain color, why not just add all of the colors? You know, why not? Let's just make these designs super complicated. I'm only animating them. I'm not gonna regret this later. It's cool. But no, I realized like last minute that I forgot the spot on his eye, and I was like, something doesn't look right. And then I was like, oh, the iconic spot, of course. Why? How can I ever forget that? So then I fixed it. And now it is time. And it's not funny anymore. The joke is not funny anymore. I'm so sorry. So now that we've completed all of our redesigns, I'm gonna do a quick review of each one, comparing the new design to the previous one. Cinder is peak. Cinder is perfect. I would change nothing about it. I would throw the old design in the trash. I would curb stomp the old design. This one, keep it forever. Juniper is literally so cute. She's super colorful now. She has a lot more patterns and variations. She just has so much life to her compared to the previous design. Juniper's mom, same thing, just a lot more color, different patterns, a little more detail with her collar. Kale is adorable. We just added more life to a character who's already full of life, and I love all the tiny details. Cosmo is peak. Cosmo is great compared to the previous design. The colors on Cosmo's previous design are so icky. They're so icky. Like, they're just icky colors. But now we have like these really nice tans and these golds, like these vibrant golds and the swirls. I love it. I think this is a lot better and more true to life. Gardenia did not change too terribly much, but we did add those details that really matter. And now we have a collar on him, and it all ties together. Lupin's siblings finally have their own characters and their own designs. They're individuals now. It's great. Elm has the most adorable collar out of all of them. Briar, oh, look at her. She's so fluffy. She's so cute. She's got the spunk. She's just perfect. Like, all of them are literally perfect to me. Some of the old colors on them, it looks like a highlighter. It's really gross. So now the colors are actually pleasing to look at. Oh, and Saffron, look how adorable. Just, oh my gosh. The orange and the purple tie together so well with the yellows. Everything is just actually thought out, and it's so nice to see. And Lupin's dad actually having his own character as well, just standing out as the father figure. He actually looks older, he looks completely different from the kids, and that's okay. Nothing changed about Orchid, except now she is big, she is bad, and she is awesome, and I love her. Jonquil had a huge upgrade. Now he has all these lovely patterns. He's got these amazing little eyes, little teeth, and the awesome swirls on his ears and his tail. Just a perfect American bully. Bamboo, we struggled with you. We really did. But you know what? You're an orange dog, and that is fine, and that is totally allowed in this universe. We have so many different colored dogs and cats. You are just one of the amazing dogs that ended up on our rainbow spectrum of animals in Origins. And now you're an actual sheepdog, and it's beautiful. Lily, you are an amazing tiny little terrier. And now you have the mysterious vibe to you. I love your new design. May have covered up the cool part of having a character that has heterochromia, but I think this adds a little bit more to her actual character. Petunia's perfect. It was already perfect. We just slightly added a couple of details to make it even better. Enough said. It's perfect. Lotus got some more coloration to her. And of course we upgraded the blanket to have so much more detail, and it's just so adorable how it ties up around her and she wears it like a little cape. It's literally so cute. Primrose is a bottle of sunshine, and I love her. She's literally so happy and so fun, and I think her design perfectly displays that. Lobelia's design speaks so loudly to who she is. She is confident, she is powerful, and she is smart. And I think this design just fits her to a T. I love Sage's new design because it just takes a spin on the original and adds just a little bit more detail, but makes it so iconic. I think that this is literally the best we could have ever asked for this character. I'll say this like 100,000 times. Ginger is literally peak. This is so perfect. Oh my god. She looks like her own character now. She doesn't look just like a brown dog. No, she is an Australian Shepherd. She is adorable, man. I am obsessed. Rose Mara got an upgrade as far as becoming even more spiky and fun. And of course we have the good representation. We have the flag on the collar. What's not to love? Magnolia's literally the same, but that's okay. She was just actually a good design to begin with, so. Clover has like an actual design now. Oh my god, I'm so excited about this. It's so cute, and now it's not just some random gray bunny, like, it's Clover the bunny now. It's Clover. Like, you can tell that this is its own character now. Buttercup just literally looks like a little fawn. She's adorable. She literally has these beautiful colorations and patterns and all these amazing flowers. I can't wait for you to meet her. I'm literally so excited. She's one of the most anticipated characters for me to introduce. Oh, we love this Islander kitty. Oak has always had a very like brown tabby cat design in my brain, but obviously before I like drained the colors out of that and made it make no sense because he had spots, which like what? So now he actually has stripes and he looks like a tabby cat like he's supposed to, and the colors are just so much more vibrant and happy, and I think it really fits him. And of course the kiddos got their upgrades. Lily is a little spunky chipmunk little baby and I love her so much. Oh my god. Blossom is now a little fox. She looks like a little fox. I love it. She has stripes, she has spots, she has lovely, beautiful bright orange fur because obviously she's an orange blossom. And just everything works so well with this character design. And Time, little baby Time, looking just like his dad, but also rocking the chipmunk tail. I got away with it. I put it on so many characters as I could get away with. Oh my god. And that concludes the Origins redesigns for the remainder of the sidekicks for this show. These designs will be appearing in Season 2 of Origins in the latter half of the episodes. The next part in our redesign series we're going to be talking about the Guardian Angels. Although the redesigns have already appeared in the finale of Season 1 of Origins Reboot, I want to redraw them and sort of touch up certain details, and also just talk about the changes that I made and why. As always, comments are appreciated. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to hear your prayers if you hated some of these. And I'd love to hear anything you have to say. I always take everything into account, and at the very end of this series, I'm going to be doing some touch-ups, and we'll go back and we'll change some characters. And you never know, sometimes your suggestion will just spark that creativity, and we will change it all together. That is the beauty of making your own cartoon. We can do literally anything we want. And with that, thank you so much for watching and being a part of this journey. We'll see you next time for another session of Redesigning Origins.